Hi everyone and welcome to our 35th SAMA. SAMA is a webinar series where we invite an expert to talk about the area of expertise. Today we are so fortunate to have Ingrid Dinter back with us, and she's going to talk to us about having a positive outlook for 2018. Yeah, 2018. Leaving fears and troubles behind us and getting ready for a shift. Now, Ingrid was with us with our 21st episode. I recommend you watch that, where Ingrid teaches you emotional freedom techniques. Ingrid is an accredited certified emotional freedom technique master trainer, and she has over 15 years experience. She's the mother of a 17-year-old daughter, and she's a breast cancer survivor with a 13-year-long healing history. So she knows firsthand how important it is to conquer the trauma of the diagnostic, the fears, the overwhelming self-doubts and anger that often accompany the healing path. And she's been using emotional freedom techniques very successfully with herself, her friends and others to overcome the limiting beliefs and mind chatter, as well as specific memories that are often so hard to shake. Now, Ingrid is very passionate about sharing this emotional healing with others. And so, Ingrid, we're so happy to have you on board so you can tell us more about how to turn 2018 into a positive year. So welcome aboard, Ingrid.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for all you do. You guys have absolutely changed my life, and Spooky is amazing. So I'm just honored to do whatever I can.
Now, we were talking just before the recording session how both your location and our location. Now, where are you based, Ingrid?
I'm in northeast, in the U.S. northeast. I'm in New Hampshire, so okay. It's about an hour 15 north of Boston. It's about 5 hours north of New York City, and 3 hours down. So,
and the on the news at the moment is the gentle breezes that are passing through your area. So you've got snow, cold, and you've got gale force winds. So how do you keep positive at a time like this? It's the start of 2018.
Right. And I mean storms, that's a very physical storm, and it's good to keep your cool when that happens, because if you don't, it just doesn't get better, things just get worse. But I think whenever something's over, we need to realize it's over. It's done. It's finished. We can't have 2017 back, even if we want to. A lot of people have this mindset that they wish they had a different past. And, it's such a waste of time. It happened. It's over. Whatever happened, happened. And it's important that we are able to just clear out what didn't work for us, to clear out energetically what didn't work for us, so that we don't expect when we try something new, that we don't expect an outcome that we've experienced in the past. And so often people say that when you talk to them, they say, I've done all that, I've tried all that, and nothing ever works, and this won't either. And then we try to tell them as healers or friends, or in whichever capacity we are, we try to tell them, this is different, and they just can't let the old go. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people are not healing so well, is because they're constantly recreating something that's done. The start of a new year is a phenomenal opportunity. I think this year I felt this personally very, very strongly. Last year was full of craziness in the US. I'm sure people have heard that it was pretty crazy over here, and to a degree that it sometimes felt like we can't even escape from it. We can't change it, and we can't escape from it. And on January 1st, all of a sudden, I felt like I can just press restart and get going. And so what's important to do then is to just go ahead and say, what of these memories do I not want to carry into the future energetically? I mean, things happened, but I don't have to borrow from that. I don't have to let that be part of who I am or part of how I think. what worked, what is good, what helped me grow, and just really make those choices. And the beautiful thing is that with EFT we can make those choices to just say, this is not something I want in my energetic makeup, and focus on it, tap on it, and let it go. So that's my speech for the new year.
Well, it's easier to say, but for many people, I guess it's harder to do because, you know, a lot of people carry baggage from their past, and they need techniques, I guess, a direction on how to wipe the slate clean, as you say. So how does one do that?
Well, EFT is a wonderful way of doing it. Basically,
Yes.
what you want to do is you want to find access to your energy field itself. So
Mm.
it's not just about thinking differently. It's really about the energetic, where's that energy of our thoughts actually stored? And being able to access that and take that charge out of it. That's what EFT does. And it does it in a very non-judgmental way. It just addresses what happened without worrying about why it happened. We address that it bothers us, that it hurts us, that we have a reaction to it. We address the triggers that were caused by this, and not so much the event itself. So the event is just something that happens, but the fact, what bothers us or what's difficult for us is that it's the triggers us. So I can just give a quick rundown through what this actually does and how this actually works. And
Okay.
I still have the website up for anybody in Spooky too. There's all sorts of free resources. You don't have to sign up for it. You can, but you don't have to. You can just scroll down and get the tapping chart, get a free manual, there's a link to a scientific report that shows actually the scientific proof that we have that is published, how this works. There scientific minds who really want to see that. You can find that. There's a tapping chart. I want to say there's probably an audio as well, and a few other things. So just go to that. It's basically ingriddinter.com/spooky2. So, and it's as simple as that. So I just want to tell people up front if they feel like, they can't say or whatever.
Okay.
Basically, here's how this works. The first thing you want to do is you want to get into alignment with letting go of a negative thought or memory. Very often we have secondary gain from holding on to something. So we would, for example, say, if I let go of this memory of being hurt, then I get hurt again. Or then people won't pay attention or whatever else it is. So there's this little yes but in our mindset that causes us to hold on out of fear that we will do damage if we let it go. So the first thing that we do is we just try to get into alignment, letting it go anyways. And then the second thing is we tap through points, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, to release the energy that is actually there. And it's as simple as that. So to show you this, for example, most people feel overwhelmed about something, and it's not very difficult to bring up a sense of overwhelm about whatever. And would you be my tapping buddy?
Yeah, of course. We did some
Okay.
tapping back on the 21st episode, so we'll do it again and see how much I've
There
retained.
we go. So basically, just think about something that makes you reasonably overwhelmed. And we're not talking, huge, difficult trauma things, whatever. Also for people who are listening, use your own, discernment, basically. We're not doing therapy here. I'm not a therapist, by the way. I'm a coach, but not a therapist. So that's very important. And just bring up that energy to a level, let's say on a scale of 0 to 10, 4 or 5, something like that, if you can. And then just tap on the first release point, and I'm just going to show where they are. The first release point is halfway between the base of the pinky and the wrist, so it's right here. And we just tap on that. And then we just say something like, even though I feel pretty overwhelmed right now.
Even though I feel pretty overwhelmed right now.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
And we say that 3 times. Even though I'm overwhelmed right now.
Even though I'm overwhelmed right now.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
And even though I'm overwhelmed right now.
Even though I'm overwhelmed right now.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
And so now we just tap through these points. So the first point is on the inside of the eyebrow. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Next one is on the outside of the eye. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Under the eye. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Nose and upper lip. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Between lower lip and chin in the little dent here.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Collarbone. I'm overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
And the last point is 4 inches below the armpit on the side of the body. I'm overwhelmed. And so that last point is basically at the apex of the ears. When you go up to the top of your head, the point is right there.
Okay.
So basically what this does is it addresses the fact that we feel overwhelmed, no matter why. And usually, I don't know if you notice something, do you feel any result out of the tapping?
I don't know, Ingrid. I guess maybe, yeah, I guess. Now, what techniques can one do out in the field, so to speak?
Yeah, so basically what we would do is we would focus on something, we would run the scene through our mind.
Yes.
Okay? So a really good one could be when somebody gives us a look. I think everybody's had that, right? People give it this kind of totally disrespectful, diminishing, mean look, and they may not even know they did it, and it just follows us around like 2 eyes. Yeah. Right? I don't know if you've ever had that, but
people do it to me sometimes, but I don't notice. But then someone was standing next to me and say, "Did you notice if he gave you this look?" Not to say he didn't know. So,
yeah, but it may be that, or it may be something, like a sound or something. But just that's something very specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, people could just imagine a look, or a sound in the voice, a tone in the voice, or that moment when somebody just comes shooting out from behind you in the car and just as if they would get any faster if they get there in front of you instead of behind you. This moment, when it's like, this is unnecessary, this is rude, this is insulting, there's nothing good about it, and it's just
okay. Right? So
so that feeling, people should just tune into that feeling.
Okay.
And then whatever that feeling is, we just call it this feeling.
Okay.
And we get on it. Karate Shaman, even though I have this feeling.
Even though I have this feeling. And they can do this in the car. I mean, presumably they're stopped at the lights. Anywhere.
You can do this anywhere. I mean, I tap on a steering wheel. I'm known to do, long road trips and just tap all over myself. It's awesome, because it just, stuff comes up and you get rid of it, and it comes up and you get rid of it. It's a very quick way of cleansing out. Okay, so let's just actually just start tapping here.
Okay.
No, even though I have this feeling.
Even though I have this feeling.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this.
Even though I feel this.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this.
Even though I feel this.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Inside of the eyebrow, this feeling.
This feeling.
Outside of the eye, this feeling.
This feeling.
Under the eye, this feeling.
This feeling.
Nose and upper lip, this feeling.
This feeling.
Lower lip and chin, this feeling.
This feeling.
Collarbone, this feeling.
This feeling.
Under the arm, this feeling.
This feeling.
Top of the head, this feeling.
This feeling.
And as they say this feeling, they should focus on the, whatever that one thing is that they would like to get rid of.
Right.
Did you have something in mind that you wanted to work on?
Well, let's say 2017 was a bad year, and there were events in 2017 that most people would rather forget. So we've dipped our toes into 2018.
Yeah.
And so if people just, instead of being specific, could they generalize and say, well, 2017 was not a good year. So would there be like do they have to visualize on specifics, or could they focus on the year as a whole as a bit of a lemon?
Well, the answer is yes.
Oh, good.
So there's two things to that. With traditional EFT, you would just pick the things that didn't work and tap on them.
Okay.
Okay, as simple as that. And I mean, for example, when many people in our spooky family, they deal with illness. Most people do.
Yes.
So, you know, there's a diagnosis, there is, you know, setbacks, there is pain and anger, frustration and fear, not knowing how to do, not knowing how to use spooky, not knowing, you know, all these different things that people are dealing with. And they can just literally take something that bothers them and find out where their fear is, right? Helplessness, anger, frustration, fear, whatever. And the nice thing about this is they know it's over. It's done. You know, 2017 is over no matter what the diagnosis was, no matter what they struggled with, it's still over. So they might as well release the emotional attachment to it. So if we pick, for example, you know, let's say helplessness or hopelessness. You know, I think that's something a lot of people are dealing with, and saying, I felt so hopeless.
Sure.
And, you know, okay, let's just do that.
Okay.
Even though I felt so hopeless.
Even though I felt so hopeless. Sorry.
And I felt helpless and hopeless.
Yeah, I felt both helpless and hopeless.
This just happened to me.
It just happened to me.
How did this happen to me?
How could this happen to me?
And there's nothing I could do about it.
There's nothing I could do about it.
And I was so scared.
I'm so scared.
I'm very alone at that moment.
And very alone at that moment.
I choose to see.
I choose to see
that was then.
That was then.
And I made it through anyways.
And I'm here now. I made it through anyway.
Yeah. And even though it happened.
And even though it happened.
And what a nightmare it was.
And what a nightmare it was.
How overwhelmingly scary.
How overwhelmingly scary.
To feel so hopeless.
I felt so hopeless.
To feel so hopeless. I choose to see.
I choose to
seek that was then.
I choose to see that was then.
And I made it through.
And I made it through.
And I'm here.
And I'm here.
It might not be perfect yet.
Pardon?
It might not be perfect yet.
It might not be perfect yet.
But I'm still here.
But I'm still here.
And things have shifted.
And things have shifted.
Whether I saw that or not.
Whether I saw that or not.
And even though. I remember how scared I was.
I remember how scared I was.
And how much I doubted that I would ever make it through this.
And how much I doubted I'd ever make it through this.
I allow myself to see.
I allow myself to see.
That I'm here now.
That I'm here now.
I made it through.
I made it through.
I put this behind me.
I put this behind me.
I know more than I knew then.
I know more now than I knew then.
I have taken control.
I have taken control.
Made some decisions.
Made some decisions.
And I'm here.
And I'm here.
And I deserve to feel very proud of that.
And I deserve to be very proud of that.
So that happened to me.
So that happened to me.
That overwhelm.
That overwhelm.
That hopelessness.
That hopelessness.
That fear.
That fear.
That helplessness.
The helplessness.
But I'm still here.
But I'm still here.
Somehow I made it.
Somehow I made it.
Somehow I'm here.
Somehow I'm here.
And I choose to move on.
And I choose to move on.
With a clean slate.
With a clean slate.
Of hope and confidence.
Of hope and confidence. Oops, sorry. And so people can do that. And it's quite a general one. So they can focus for what they felt most unhappy about, what fears or thoughts they want to drop.
Right.
And
right. Yeah. They can just isolate one event and notice where they feel it in their body. Identify the feeling that it is. Is it sadness? Is it anger? They should just separate the two. Do one round of sadness, do one round of anger. Notice if there's a shift. And when the intensity starts to drop down or has dropped down enough, they just take the next feeling. And so they can literally, like peeling an onion, getting rid of one feeling after the other.
Right.
And eventually that entire situation will collapse and they will realize, for example, that moment when I went to the doctor was the moment when I took charge. I didn't feel that way because I didn't see it coming, but at the end of the day, it was the moment I decided to let. And that's a huge revelation,
Mm.
you know. And there are so many times when we deal with controversy, that's also when we realize how important things are for us, how much we're willing to sacrifice, how much we're willing to work and to do and to commit and you know, all of that. It's energetically actually when the thing we're fighting for gets up leveled, when it rises in vibration, because there's all this power behind it that says, you know, I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not going to quit this. This is too important. This is important for me. This is important for people like me. I'm going to do this. And it's an enormously powerful moment. And at the same time, it's very vulnerable. So, and I think what I noticed is that over the years of doing this work, I have allowed myself to be very vulnerable and very just, I don't know, you know, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And usually, I used to think that that's not okay. I used to think that when I let my guard down, or when I'm, you know, show people vulnerability, that they would think I'm weak. And I realized later that the opposite is the case. When they see somebody vulnerable, they just see the person as authentic. And then they see in the other person what they see in themselves. And it's much easier for them to connect. And so it's much easier for them to want to support others. It's easy for me to get support when I don't pretend that I'm stronger than I am, you know, or when I don't build walls. And so often people are rigid, or people are dealing with tough stuff. Because they just can't see that vulnerability is a weakness. They just can't realize that they have to fight too hard and nobody ever helped them. So people can do this. And, you know, so when people come to me and ask a specific question, have a specific event, I either just have them run it through their mind and then identify the feeling, find out where they feel it in their body, and then just do a round of tapping and check back in again. Or, and this is a little more advanced, and I don't necessarily recommend for beginners to do this on their own. They should probably work with somebody. Sometimes things happen on a timeline. So it's one event that led to the next, that led to the next. And so within in that half-hour memory that they have, there may be 6, 8, or 10 traumatic events. And what we do then is we kind of start running it through our mind, but we stop at the very first intensity. And we take that down. We don't worry about the big story. We just worry about that very first moment. And we take that down. And then we go back to the beginning. We talk about the event again. Go to that moment when we had the intensity and just test. If there's something there, we tap again. And if it's completely down to 0, we kind of move forward until the next intensity comes. Stop. So and then, you know, tap, go back to the beginning, go to that event. If it's completely collapsed, we move forward. If not, we do another round. So we start very gently to kind of clean it up from the back. And so that by the time when people have collapsed all these different crescendos or moments in that story, they're able to tell the entire story and there's no intensity whatsoever. And the beautiful thing with EFT is that once the intensity is gone, it's just gone. Because it's like, you know, unkinking a hose, like, you know, just plugging something back into the outlet. The energy just flows. It's not conditional that it flows. It just flows naturally the way it's supposed to flow. And so that's basically what we do, is we just let the energy flow again. And that's why that intensity doesn't come back in. Basically, those moments that we're dealing with, those moments of shock or disappointment or fear or, you know, helplessness is one of the worst. Helplessness is one of the worst feelings ever. It's easy to be, you know, helplessness is one of the most traumatic feelings ever, because we literally think we're going to die. And when we get rid of that feeling and things start to flow naturally again, then we actually realize that we have a lot more power. And we have a lot more power to work with others, to shift relationships and all that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how you do it.
It sounds like you're channeling a very positive energy or positive mind thoughts and mindsets, like dropping things which belong to be, which deserve to be dropped, and
Yeah.
which are stopping you from progressing forwards, if you like. Like 2018, focus on the things which upset you in 2017. Accept the fact that they've upset you, but you deeply and completely accept yourself and what you did then, and you let go, and then you
Yeah.
move on. It's quite a powerful technique, I suppose, and you can focus, as you say, Ingrid, on the specific things which upset you the most, which the things you put on a grade 10. Gosh, you'll be spending all of 2018 addressing all of those, and then addressing them until you can go through to the present day. And I guess if you haven't got all these fears, or these thoughts, these negative thoughts, you wouldn't be so defensive inside yourself, would you? You wouldn't have that wall that and I'd say that's beautiful.
We're so capable. We are so capable. We do crazy things on a daily basis. I mean, I should tell you what, a little tool called Spooky too. It blows your mind. I mean, we tap on things and let them go. We have so much potential. We
Mm,
have so much resiliency. Um, think about the fact that most people get traumatized severely before the age of 6, right? I mean, stuff happens, and you wonder how can a person that's yay big even make it through that? And they do. We
they
have so much potential, and once we get that energy flowing again, once we get back into the flow of things, and those traumatic moments, this thing that happens in our field when we get traumatized, when that starts to open up and just let it go again, we are so powerful. We have
mm,
resources everywhere. And I think having adversity in our life is just normal. It's part of it. Just
mm,
as much as it's normal to be extremely happy,
right.
it's also normal to be extremely unhappy. It's just kind of two sides of the coin and nothing to be afraid of.
Would you say it's a fair statement that harboring negative thoughts manifests or helps to grow diseases, or at least prevents or reduces the body's ability to recover from illness?
Well, I think we have proof for that. I mean, that's a scientific discovery. That's not my belief.
Okay.
For a long time, it's not anymore. Um, the there's profound research that really shows the relationship between specific trauma and certain tumors and all sorts of things.
Yes.
But what I want to say on the other side though is there is a danger in that, and that is that people think that they have manifested something,
Okay.
right? It's their fault. It's now, okay, my God, what did I do to cause this?
Mm,
And especially in the field of personal development and healing that I'm in, I see this all the time, that people who understood the concept halfway,
mm,
they now add insult to injury, right? And they think they are so evolved that they understand that, their thoughts can create physical reality,
mm,
that they blame themselves.
mm,
Now, I think it's very different, actually. I think just as much as thoughts and feelings go together, thoughts and our physical body or feelings in our physical body also go together. It's not an intentional manifestation. It's literally just if you pour water on the floor, it's going to get wet. And um, it's not that we have done something wrong and now this thing happens. And we
mm,
need to let go of the idea that that's how that is. It's just not. It
mm.
is simply the fact that there is one energy field, and whatever is happening to the entirety. And it's the easiest way to see the manifestation is physically.
Okay.
You know, it's, but I don't think we should feel guilty. I don't think we should say it's my fault. Um, I think we should just take it from where we are and just move forward with it. Let go of the fears and the beliefs and this and that, and just say, okay, then what am I going to do?
Okay. So where to from now? Where to from here? It's
Where
really
to from here? Wow.
it's the
Yeah.
questions we should be asking. And obviously, if carrying all these negative thoughts is preventing us from advancing from now and living and being happy, then why should we carry them? Why carry something which is only causing harm? Yeah.
Well, there is something to be said about the subconscious mind creating rules according to experiences. So all our experiences are stored in our subconscious, and then rules are created to keep us alive. And for example, if the subconscious says, every time I trust somebody, I get disappointed, then it will stop trusting everybody in order to not feel the disappointment again.
And that
Now, this
is,
is a rule that is completely outdated. But unless we use a tool like EFT, from EFT is the best tool to use it, but, and just go in and reprogram that subconscious rule, we will just use it. We will keep using it. Most of us still operate on the level of a 5-year-old. When somebody took the toy, when somebody did this, when we got smacked over the head, I fell down the stairs. And we create these rules. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to avoid this? And we still live according to these rules. And it's maddening what this does to us. And so nice to have a tool that can erase that. So you literally, again, I just want to repeat this over and over because it is so simple.
yes.
People literally go in, they identify an event that makes them upset in any way. They find out where they feel it in their body. They find out what feeling it is. If they can, they give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. And they go through the entire process the way you and I did it. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Yes.
And then this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, under the arm, tapping. Very straightforward, and collapse it. And what will happen then is that those rules, they get erased. And then people say, well, that's actually pretty silly. Or it's about. And they start living their life according to different rules. And once we live our life according to rules that we write, the people we meet will change, the environment we live in will change, our finances will change, everything will change because our rules determine what we do. Not our rules don't determine what's possible. Our rules determine what we do with what's possible. And if we have a rule that we shouldn't ask for much, then we're not going to get a lot, right? So that's why this is so powerful to put this together. And we were talking about physical diseases. Doctors don't like it when I say that, but I tell them, as long as there is a statistic, it means that people made it, right? I mean, having a statistic is scientific proof that something may or may not happen. And they're not comfortable with that, but it's true, right? If there were 100, there is no statistic how many people survive long-term underwater. You can't breathe. You're not going to survive. There's no statistic like 5% made it anyways. No, nobody does.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't have statistics because there's nothing to measure, which means that as long as we have statistics, and even if they are, 5% or 12% or whatever people give you, that means that there are people who absolutely make it, right? And for us to shift our mindset, we have to look at that which is possible. We might as well, right? In the medical field, oftentimes, or in other fields, it's very fear-based. So they focus on how can I keep things away, or how can I deal with this if it comes, or whatever. Whereas we need to focus on what are these people doing that they are on that side of statistic, and how can I get that too? And I believe that shifting our thoughts and feelings and our entire vibration and our environment around us is a great contributor to that.
Right.
So there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot that we can do, and I mean, just like you with Spooky too, for me, EFT is just a gift that needs to be shared as much as possible. Most people don't know that that's possible, and I think they really should. It goes together. So.
It does. Well, thank you so much, Ingrid, for being on board again. I'm so happy that you've managed to twist your arm to come back on again.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you viewers for watching, and thank you Facebook for viewing this online too. Okay, goodbye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Oh, well, we nailed it without any hardware glitches, without any cyclone. Now, for our viewers watching now, we've really got a storm on Ingrid's side, high speed winds. You must have heard it on the news. And we're fearing we're going to get some sort of power outage, but no, we were lucky, and we got through without a major glitch. In fact, the only major
Yeah.
glitch was every time I raise my arms, my background goes all funny. And this is where people can see I'm not actually in front of this mountain, but we're going to up the ante, and next week we're going to go to a blue screen instead of a green screen, and hopefully it'll be better. And you can see I'm semi-transparent. Look at me. Look at that. You can see that flower there.
Look at that.
I never realized I was transparent until now. Look at that. So technology quite often does.
Who doesn't? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop the recording really quick. So now we find out you're transparent. Maybe that's spooky, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, all right, and let me just stop this. Yeah, I mean, today was very strange energy. I mean, this is the first time ever that my camera didn't work, and the camera that I have on my computer pulls everything into the white, so I find that very disturbing as well. It's white screen and it makes everything red, and then it's just, I don't know, I couldn't make it work. It did not work, but at least we have power and we have heat. And I don't know, but I cannot even tell you how grateful I am to have found Spooky too. And I said it before, and not to do false advertising here, but really because it's true. Mirror Mate.
Yeah, Mirror Mate.
I had back pain for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk, and I put it on my back, and within 2 hours, it just was like, whoa! Yeah. It's really powerful stuff, and I just think people need to know. It
sounds like a shameless plug to me, but it's for our products. It sounds like a shameless plug, but it's for our products, so I'll let it ride.
Yeah, look, this isn't about products. This is about taking charge. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And people make their own decisions, but they have to make the decisions based on something. So I'm not sales pitching. I just think that people need to know, because there were so many times when people came my way and said, I have a sense you should try this. I have a sense this works, or whatever, or just, I don't know, I've heard of this. And I tried it out and it was right for me. And I think we just need to spread the word. So again, this is not I'm not plugging anything, and the recording's up. But it really is amazing. And it's I think our community, the Spooky Doo community, has such a loving thing about them. I mean, people who are just in there to help each other out. Who does that?
Exactly.
It's lovely.
Well, the Spooky family do, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people in there that I just hope when I post something they don't respond, because I want them to get at least some hours of sleep. And it seems like they just don't sleep.
No, that's right.
So let's just trust and hope and believe and know that. I don't know if that was your sense. Maybe it was. I have a very strong sense that 2018 is a very special year. And I usually don't have that. I never had it as strongly as I had it this time. I literally had this feeling of the doors shutting, and not slamming, but just over and clean way. And opportunities are there, and all of a sudden they seem doable. And as if we came out on the other side of some kind of a big funk. And I'm not saying that we're done with the big funk, but I think a lot of people should feel that there are real serious opportunities that they can take in their life. And I think we're lucky that way.
So drop the baggage and start running. This is 2018, a new year.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Ingrid. It's really appreciated. I loved our chat together as before. Now, if people are wondering about the Mirror Mate, I mean, you started it, Ingrid. She's talking about the Mini Magic. It's just a little portable device that you carry along, and it's got a couple of coils that you put on against your body, and it does magic, and it does work very well. Okay, I've done that. We'll edit
Or
that
you
out.
can delete
But,
it. It doesn't matter. I just
no.
want.
Yeah, well, the recording's
But
off. So.
yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
thank you for everything that you're doing. And, clearly, can I tell people just really quick again where they get the
Oh,
information?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So my name is Ingrid Dinter. So the website is the same. It's ingriddinter.com. And then it's /Swoopy2. And there's all sorts of stuff you can download. There is a window where you can give me your email address, but you don't have to do that to get the stuff. So that's totally up to you. If you want to connect with me, you want to send me an email, or want to, just have a conversation, just chat, that's fine. I would love to do that. And if you just want to download manuals, you can do that too. It's totally up to you.
You're a very
There you
generous
go.
person. You're very
All right.
generous with your time. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a fantastic 2018. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.